It's that you are disliked by someone. It is proof that you are exercising your freedom and living your freedom, and a sign that you are living in accordance with your own principles.
So firstly, we've always been grateful for anyone who ever clicks on our videos, those who leave us kind comments, and the handful of people who watch every one of our videos. We used to do gear reviews, like camera related stuff. Yeah, we'd try to predict what would get good views, what topics, and what we wanted to do came a bit of a second. But nowadays, I really don't care. There's an interview I saw with Trent Reznor, and he said, I make music for me, and everyone else is invited to listen. And that's the same with us. We make videos for ourselves, and everyone is invited to watch us doing this video. It's a message to myself, and hopefully you can relate.
A way of living in which one is constantly troubled by how one is seen by others is a self-centered lifestyle in which one's sole concern is with the I.
So many YouTube channels, when the views dwindle, the creators just disappear. And that kind of makes me wonder why these people did it in the first place. So this book, written by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga, is about Adlerian psychology. It's about a dialogue between a philosopher and a somewhat depressed young person. And he's trying to help them have the courage to be disliked, have the courage to be happy. Elise and I read this a few years ago. I think it was written mostly for a Japanese audience who come from a collective society, who this kind of stuff is even more of a struggle for them than Westerners. But it's obviously been popular in other languages. It's got some really good parts in it that help you think about where you're placing your attention.
Youth, have you become free from all forms of competition? Philosopher, of course. I do not think about gaining status or honour. I live my life as an outsider philosopher without any connection whatsoever to worldly competition. Youth, does that mean you dropped out of competition? That you somehow accepted defeat? Philosopher, no. I withdrew from places that are preoccupied with winning and losing. When one is trying to be oneself, competition will inevitably get in the way.
So it's 2024 and I have no desire to compete with the TikTok style videos, the clickbait that cater to people's ever dwindling attention spans. Your attention span could just be the most important thing you possess, and losing it may result in deleterious effects worse than poor concentration. There is a strong correlation with the advent of social media and psychiatric symptoms found in the general population. Would I rather this video get 300 views rather than 3 views? Yes, but the point I'm making is that is a far, very distant second than me doing it for the views. YouTube is our canvas, and this video is exactly what I want to paint right now.
If one really has a feeling of contribution, one will no longer have any need for recognition from others, because one will already have the real awareness that I am of use to someone, without needing to go out of one's way to be acknowledged by others. In other words, a person who is obsessed with a desire for recognition does not have any community feeling yet, and has not managed to engage in self-acceptance, confidence in others, or contribution to others.
Wanting to be liked goes back to when we were in small tribes long ago, and there is a great part of our primordial brains that were devoted to this because we needed to be accepted and valued by the tribe, and if we did some pretty unlikable stuff, we would be expelled from the tribe, and that would mean certain death, or we'd be killed. So even psychopaths and people with antisocial personality disorder will mimic and fabricate pro-social behavior because it's important. Even now times we need to be liked by our families, liked enough to get a job. We need to be liked by people we have relationships with. But the issue is our communities are now 7 billion people because we're connected And that is a fool's errand to try and be liked by that many people. We need to be liked by 20, 30, 40, 50 people. That's it.
Being praised essentially means that one is receiving judgment from another person as good, and the measure of what is good or bad about that act is that person's yardstick. If receiving praise is what one is after, one will have no choice but to adapt to that person's yardstick and put the brakes on one's own freedom.
I know some people's job it is to be famous and to be liked by many people, but what an awful job. Like, get a new one, seriously. To be fair, there may be a happy medium there. I mean, Jim Carrey is a good example of that, but generally speaking, you should find a job that is more long-term and psychologically sustainable.
A healthy feeling of inferiority is not something that comes from comparing oneself to others. It comes from one's comparison with one's ideal self.
Marcus Aurelius has been quoted on this channel before, and I will quote him again. We love ourselves more than others, yet we care more about their opinions than our own. You need to like what you do. If you create something, it should be for you and your likes, and because it's come from some intrinsic desire. Don't worry about what people think of your artwork. Don't worry about what everyone thinks about you. Have some courage to be disliked. It's great.
We do not lack ability, we just lack courage. It all comes down to courage.
It's great fun to not care so much. It's freeing. Please share your retort or wisdom on being unpopular, external validation, caring what other people think to your detriment, and we'll see you in Osaka in a vlog next week.